Do you know the question I get asked more than any other? Do you know? Let me tell you. I get asked two questions. One is, when are you retiring Fernando's number? And the second question is, why the hell haven't you retired Fernando's number? Well, let me explain why. As I said, when we got here, we really paid attention to the history, and that included honoring the policies that were in place. And one of those policies was, you all know it, that the only people whose numbers get retired, with one exception, are people who have already gotten into Cooperstown. And similarly, there was a policy that we're still not going to give his number out. So we honored that policy also. But from time to time, when the season's over, we get together, we sit down, we review our policies, and we see, is there time for a change? Is there a reason for a change? Can we make an exception? Should we make an exception? And so that's why I am really proud to announce today that this summer in 2023, we are officially and finally retiring Fernando's number. Fernando, number 34 is yours, will always be yours. No Dodger player will ever wear it again.
Absolutely incredible news. And Nomar, I know you and I have been preaching this for a long time. Why do we let baseball writers determine who's made that much of a difference and that much of an impact on your organization? I'll begin with you and go right down to one of Fernando's former teammates, to Oral. Just your reaction hearing that Fernando Valenzuela's number 34 is officially going to be retired.
John, I am not going to lie. When I just heard Stan Kasten say that, I got chills. I mean, because you and I, like we said, all of us have been waiting for this for so long. And then we thought that number should be retired. It doesn't matter whether he's not in the Hall of Fame. He should be there as well. We know that. But no matter what, the impact that he has had on this Dodger organization, the fan base, I know for myself, from my family, growing up in a Latino family and understanding the impact that Fernando Valenzuela has had, I am so happy over them. That has made my year already, right there. Just seeing that we'll finally see number 34 up there and retired where it should be.
I wish the fans would have saw our reaction, because we just found this out literally a minute ago. Listen, Fernando Valenzuela, the impact he has had on this Dodger organization, well-deserved. I am so glad, because nobody's going to wear number 34 anyway, but I'm so glad that they're honoring him. That jersey is going to be retired. My mom is from Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Her favorite player, not Jerry Hairston Sr., not Jerry Hairston Jr., not Scott Hairston, it's Fernando Valenzuela, not just with the Dodgers. The impact that Fernando Valenzuela had on the game of baseball, well-deserved.
I think back now immediately with the goosebumps with Nomar and the honor that it is to have Fernando up there. I think this is a new era in Dodger baseball, and it's fantastic. I go back to Double-A and meeting Fernando there. I go back to driving him back to his apartment and to the ballpark, finding some chicken and a six-pack of Budweiser for him so he could get through the evening. And then having Ducky LeJohn, our manager in San Antonio, Texas, bring a small TV into the dugout on the nights that Fernando would pitch at Dodger Stadium, so us Double-A players could really understand that a guy who was just with us is now making a huge impact in the big leagues, and then the impact he made here. He won his arbitration case for like $1 million with Dick Moss as his attorney, because he would bring 10 to 20,000 more people in not only Dodger Stadium, but on the road ballpark. So he made a huge impact, not only on Los Angeles and the Dodgers, but a huge impact of all of Major League Baseball.
Nobody's worn the number 34 since he last wore it 33 years ago, so officially it's great to see that they will make it that no one will ever wear number 34 again. Fernando Valenzuela. Fernando, congratulations. I know it's an incredible honor for anyone to have their number retired, especially by an organization like this. What does it mean to you to have 34 retired?
How you doing, John? I think it's great. It's get me by surprise. But when Stan told me about that one is serious, I say, well, it's great. So that's for me, it really is a good feeling.
And Stan, take us through that decision that you guys made as an organization to retire 34, despite him not being in the Hall of Fame, and we know that there has been in the past a requirement that you had to be voted in by the baseball writers.
Well, it really was a recognition after all this time that there's no player, literally in LA Dodger history, that has the standing that this man has. Like all of them, I also grew up when I was very young watching Fernando pitch.
Yeah.
But I was actually running clubs when he was pitching against us, so I knew firsthand his impact. But I mean, today, walking through the crowd with Elvis here, it was just unlike anything that I've ever seen with any player. And you know, our franchise has its share of great players, including my other friend sitting in the seat right here. We are proud of all of this history. We work to recognize all of our history every night. And today was a special day because, as you said, after the retirement date, that number will never be worn by a Dodger player again. And I'm very proud of Fernando, and I'm very proud of our fans who made this necessary.
You know, John, Stan, Fernando, not only great accomplishments on the field, but what he did in the clubhouse as a teammate. He's a great hacky sack player. He taught me that through the years. Unbelievable workout buddy when we go through our cardio. Unbelievable at teaching us how to bunt and to hit, and he's got an all-around game. But his ability with the lasso to rope you and to trip you as a teammate. We go all the way back to San Antonio. He made an unbelievable impact even down there with a television putting in the dugout so we could watch him in the All-Star game, watch his starts. And you know from opposing teams that he drew 10 to 20,000 more people in the stands no matter where he pitched to enhance the game.
Well, it was in truth, it was the hacky sack stuff that put him over the top.
Oh, I'll bet.
Once I heard about that.
Stan, I want to go back to 1981. Did you have something to add?
No. That's
I want to hear about
I've
your
been trying
hacky
to get
sack
him to
side of the
talk
story.
all week.
Did you have to decide when you were a little boy it was going to be baseball, soccer, or some other sport, or did you say it's baseball right away?
You know what? Baseball, because soccer game and you have to run a lot. And really, I think baseball for me was the game.
Did you have to decide between hitter or pitcher? Because I know how much you love and were great at hitter.
Well, pitcher.
Right away?
As a pitcher, right away, because this happened for the pitchers. In the game, if the pitcher don't release the ball, nothing happens in the game.
That's true. And
So-
how big an impact was Bobby Castillo in learning the screwball?
Yeah, helped me a lot because, you know, I have two pitches, like a fastball, slider, and curveball sometimes, but the screwball helped me a lot, and because hitters started looking for something coming in, and then with the screwball, pitch away. So I think that's big help.
What was 1981 like for you, Fernando? Because you're so young and you weren't speaking much English back then. I know Jaime Harin did a lot of the translation for you and doing interviews. But to go from a small town where you grew up to becoming a megastar almost overnight, if you will, at the major league level, and not just here in Los Angeles, but really across the country, was that difficult for someone of your personality and of your age to deal with back then?
Well, you know, sometimes the pitcher, well, not sometimes. I think it's most of the time you have to believe what you have in your stuff, and I think that can help a lot, because if you know you can throw your fastball any part of the plate, so that's a lot of help, and that's the confidence I think that's the pitchers need to face some great hitters.
Stan, we haven't seen many things like that, though, in the game of baseball, because back then there was no social media, there was no internet. It just is one of those things, word of mouth, really, where people realized what was going on the West Coast late at night, and this guy was throwing complete game after complete game and shutout after shutout. And it just became this huge thing nationwide. I only know what it was like as a 12-year-old growing up here in Los Angeles, but what was it like in other parts of the country?
Well, I was in Atlanta, and he was truly a national phenomenon. We heard reports, his first game, his second game, but then it didn't stop. Another complete game shutout, another complete game shutout. And it really lasted most of that decade. It was an extraordinary run. He was terrifying as an opponent. to watch him play. But for the sport, and as I said, I was already running teams. As a sport, it was such a great thing for us. It was bringing attention to our sport that we always needed. It also drew in a very major way, a whole new cadre of fans that maybe weren't tied to their local sports teams. Fernando unlocked a lot of the attention in a way that I've never seen any other player do, not in quite that way.
Yeah.
Your phone is going to blow up today because I know you're going to hear from a whole bunch of teammates, especially like Steve Yeager and Mike Scioscia, those original catchers that caught you. Going to be fun to talk to them.
A lot of fun, of course. I think it's you know, in the old days, those big help for any pitchers, you know, when you have catchers with a lot of experience. And then, you know, they recognize what you really is your style and what different situations you like to pitch. And in my case, it's the score, you know.
Yeah, fantastic.
What was Fernandomania like for Fernando? To go through all of that and to be kind of a rock star everywhere you went?
You know,
because you're such a humble person.
You know, I'm sure to be more doing interviews. So I think that's the hard part in the 81 because
I mean,
a lot of
big help.
Big help a lot because especially when we travel, a lot of media, you know. In LA, I recognize a lot of people, a lot of media, so that's a little bit more comfortable talking with them.
Stan, we're going to see Fernando joining the other Hall of Famers over here. We'll see he's going to have a plaque of some sort and descriptions about just how great he was and what he meant to the organization. But I was thinking about it. This is the first time we've had FanFest since the renovation.
Yeah.
So all these fans get to enjoy all the activations.
Isn't it tremendous? I told people, I get to work here every day and I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But it's the first time in months that we've had a field full of Dodger fans. And it's a great feeling, but it's just every day is like that once the season begins. But like I said, we brought Elvis with us today, and that made it extra special.
Well, there's a continuation of Stan's dreams being played out every year here at Dodger Stadium, from the new front door of Dodger Stadium with Jackie and Sandy, with Fernando, and expanding the Ring of Honor. It's really amazing what you have done in the leadership here and the group around you. I know you give a lot of credit.
Well, you know, when we came here, every city is different, every situation is different. When we came here, we knew the first thing that we had was a heritage, a legacy, a history that other teams just don't have. And we were going to do everything we could to help translate that and bring that to the fans in a way that maybe we hadn't been able to before. And I've been proud of what we've done every day, but every year we'll think of something new, and there's more yet to come.
I was going to say, what is the more that's yet to come? What can you tell us? Can you give us any spoilers yet about the new things that we'll see this year?
Well, this year, as I said out there, we're going to have new lights. We're going to have LED lights, which are instant on and off. So we are going to be able to make the whole stadium dark and then have lighting effects, full color, like for home runs or winning the game, or just for fun. You see that in some modern stadiums.
Yeah.
We're going to have that here for the first time in 62 years. Also, on 4 nights this year, on Friday nights, instead of our usual fireworks shows, which are always great, this year we're going to replace them with drone shows. And if you haven't seen a synchronized, coordinated drone show with hundreds of drones performing in midair, it's spectacular, and I think you're going to like that every bit as much as the fireworks.
As if Dodger fans didn't need another reason to come out to this beautiful ballpark, they have more.
Yeah.
Thank you to team president Stan Kasten, and also Fernando Valenzuela having his number 34 officially retired by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.